In the last few hours, the UK's Labour Party has announced a new leader. Former Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, who is already setting the tone for what his leadership will look like. Have a listen.
We are united, and we put the power that comes from that unity at the service of people and places who have been waiting too long for politics to let them hope again. And that's what we're going to do, everybody. We're going to give them hope back. Well,
he is succeeding Sir Keir Starmer, who announced his resignation as Prime Minister last month. But Burnham won't officially be taking the mantle of PM until Monday. In recent years, he has become one of the country's most popular politicians. CNN's Claire Sebastian has more.
Better not put that one on the camera.
Britain's incoming Prime Minister belongs to a new generation of politicians, one that understands the power of social media.
Evening, everyone.
From campaign trail highlights to football skills to a viral roasting of the British opposition leader who called him
a pair of eyelashes and a black T-shirt.
It's dark blue, actually.
That video racked up over 5 million views on X. Well, the strategy, especially with these signature selfie-style videos, is really part of an effort by Burnham to present himself as an outsider here in Westminster, a regular guy, despite, of course, his many years spent in Parliament previously. His style is true to Andy, and that isn't going to change. A source close to his campaign told me he's not trying to land a point with every post.
He feels comfortable, he feels relaxed. And to be honest with you, it reminds me of that famous phrase that Margaret Thatcher had about Ronald Reagan. He's engaged in the great cause of cheering us all up.
We're doing it to change Labour, to make
and yet, optimism and hope don't always get the clicks.
He has got a harder job in terms of, his content compared to someone like Trump or like Farage.
If you come to the UK illegally, you will be detained and deported.
We know that social media algorithms prioritise or amplify emotionally charged, polemic, kind of controversial content in any way. But I would look to someone like Mamdani, for example, who has managed to navigate that.
I'm freezing. You're red.
New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani is emerging as a template for progressive politicians on social media. And the parallels with Burnham aren't hard to find. Using social to amplify grassroots campaigning, light-hearted ways to discuss major policies.
Start spreading.
Even singing.
I left the north again, I travelled south again.
I like when people take risks and try things out and aren't afraid of cringe.
But, says Mamdani's former communications director, Burnham's desire to unify may have come at the expense of clarity.
The agenda and the message is a bit more muddled than Zoran's was. And the risk that Burnham runs in being, sort of being all things to all people, or not being totally clear on where he falls on particular issues or ideological debates, I think can risk reading to people as just being another politician.
And that's exactly what Burnham is trying to avoid.
I am going to do things differently.
He's used social media to make himself accessible to regular people, facing criticism on the way for neglecting traditional media, something he denies. No questions allowed from journalists at this recent big policy speech. Instead, a few days later,
send your questions in.
He took to Reddit for a public Ask Me Anything session that was so popular, the site crashed midway through, the source told CNN.
Oh, thanks a lot. Cheers. Right, better hit the road, lads.
The challenge now to strike a balance between running on TikTok and running a country. Claire Sebastian, CNN, London.
All the revolving doors of British politics not affecting the British pound, sterling pretty much unchanged. Andy Burnham says it's time to focus on policy, not politics, for the people of Britain. We want to examine how Burnham's leadership then might affect the UK population and its economy. Wes Ball was an advisor to Gordon Brown when Brown served as Prime Minister. He joins us now from London. So, Andy Burnham, no surprise, elected by the Labour Party as leader and therefore will become Prime Minister on Monday. He's going to do things differently, he says, promising policy, not politics. For example, promising good growth in every British postcode. talking about levelling up. But Wes, there is no decent growth anywhere in the UK at this point. So how is he going to fix that?
Good afternoon, Becky. I think that's his great challenge, is that he wants to do politics differently. He says, and truly and very authentically, he believes that power has been centralised in Westminster and taken away from people, and he wants to push that away. And he thinks that economic power has been privatised, and he wants to bring public control of the key economic levers back into government and into the hands of the people. But how that drives growth is his big challenge, because part of the reason people feel so disenchanted in the UK, and this has been going on for a long time, is because real wages are so low at the moment and have not been rising for many, many years.
He's promised transformative change, whilst also pledging to stick to the current, likely to change, Chancellor Rachel Reeves' fiscal rules. I just wonder, can he realistically do both?
Well, I think we will see a very different government. People have speculated that he's all things to all people. I think actually that's not true. Andy has, he's been a politician since 2001. He had 3 cabinet posts in the last Labour government. He spent 10 years out of Westminster as Mayor of Manchester. I think he's truly found his authentic self. So the Andy Burnham that you saw speaking today, very passionately committed to handing power back to people and away from Westminster and away from sort of the central state, is truly him. Whether that will bring about the change he wants to bring about quickly is a real question. I think, Andy Burnham is very clear that this is the last chance for Labour, and it's the last chance for kind of the mainstream parties, because he is very clear in his own mind that if it's not him and if his government doesn't succeed, then Nigel Farage and Reform will be the next government, and that for him is is not just the swing of the pendulum. It's a complete transformation in the UK.
Wes, is his team going to look more like the team that was around Tony Blair 1997 through the period of time when you were on Gordon Brown's team, or is this going to look more like a sort of very left-wing, social democratic sort of more Mamdani than Blair, as it were?
Look, your piece a moment ago talked about Andy as a very effective communicator and a social media politician. That's definitely more Mamdani than Blair, isn't it? On an economic position, I think it will be, he says he's pro-business, and he genuinely understands the importance of driving economic growth, focusing on the UK's strengths, which include our service industry in London, which include getting closer to Europe, and which also includes the strength of our advantages on frontier industries. Now, it's not going to feel like a Blair government. They are going to renationalise our railways, which are a key piece of our public infrastructure. They are going to make economic interventions to bring down the cost of living. They are going to look at the structure of the water industry and probably bring some of that back into public ownership. So that won't feel like a Blair government. But the hope is that it will bring down the cost of living, and people will feel that the system is working for them. At the moment, Andy's analysis is the system is not working for people.
Well, we'll see. Good to have you, Wes. Thank you very much indeed.